EA and College Football 26 dropped a pretty big update today for the video game that not only changed some jerseys, which we all expected they dropped that, but also some gameplay changes that we're going to cover in this video. If you enjoyed this content and you want to stay up to date, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also, go over to my X, Twitter. Check that out. I pretty much tweet more consistently, and I will update y'all about the game and what's going on in college football. All of this stuff, go check out the Twitter and the Twitch. We're going to be live streaming tonight also. Check out the Twitch. Let's hop in. So yesterday, College Football Page 26 page pretty much just tweeted saying that they're dropping new gear, and that's it. That's all they said. They was dropping new gear to the video game, but they actually dropped more than that, man. They actually came out with a update to the gameplay, but they didn't announce it until 3 hours before, 3 hours, up until this point, which was about 1 o'clock Central Time. But the update came out this morning. So it's more stuff than just the, jerseys. We'll get into the jerseys. We'll also show some of the jerseys so you could get an idea. Unfortunately, they just don't drop, or at least this time, they just don't tell you all of the jerseys that have been changed. We found on Reddit that someone did the Lord's work and actually just dropped all of the jerseys that have been updated and added to the game. I don't get why, they just don't give us some of this information sometimes. But here, actually, College Football Direct is the page that tweeted, the changes to the actual gameplay. So here's what's new. Smarter AI play calling and north-south ball carrier logic, man. That is great. That is great for the Dynasty community and then maybe even your Road to Glory community. That is great stuff. Also, improve AI quarterback sack allowance and then late game clock management. Another great improvement, man. I feel like it's too easy to get sacks in my Dynasty. My D-line is going crazy in my Purdue series, and it's just too easy. If you blitz, they get home super easy. It's not even like we have dominant pass rushers. Just a CPU just don't always get the ball out. And one of the biggest complaints I had about just CPU quarterbacks is they all feel the same. No diddy. They all play to the same. If I have Tim Tebow and Tom Brady, I'm playing against those guys. Both quarterbacks will play the same when it comes to completion percentage. Both quarterbacks will be check down merchants. Neither quarterback will push the ball down the field. The only difference is that Tim Tebow type quarterback, he will take off and run the ball. He will go get 40 rushing yards. He will go get some rushing touchdowns or rushing yards at least. He might get a touchdown. That Tom Brady, he's not going to run the ball too much, but he's still going to be the check down merchant, and he might end the game with an 80 completion percentage and only 200 passing yards. That's my issue with, or was my issue with college football as far as the offline playing the CPU. My Dynasty last year, I thought the gameplay was in a very good spot. This year, I'll argue too easy, and the CPU plays the same. You'll have different playbooks. Every team got different playbooks, but it seemed like they're all using the same book, in my opinion. So hopefully some of this stuff will allow the CPU to play better and maybe even more realistic. Also, it was a big Juke exploit that has gotten fixed. That was more so for the online community. For your Dynasty players, you probably wasn't exploiting that. Maybe if you're in an online Dynasty, you could have dealt with that. But for your offline, you don't really care about that probably. Super random, but I wanted to include this. Someone sent me their top 5 watch YouTubers. I made someone number 5. I appreciate y'all, man. I just hit 17,000 subscribers. Really appreciate y'all. If I'm in y'all top 5, send them over to me. Send them over to me on Twitter. Tweet it to me. All of that stuff. Send it to me on Instagram, whatever. Appreciate y'all. But I would love to see it interact with y'all. And then also on this same thread, CFB Direct talks a little bit more about the AI logic. So modify AI run game play calling logic to rely more heavily on their most effective run types. Reduce unnecessary skill movement by ball carriers, both inside the tackles and behind the line of scrimmage. So overall, the CPU running the ball should just feel better. They should be able to run the ball better, because I personally feel like I could stop the run, or I can at least hit the running back in the backfield consistently. The only issue I have is my guys seem to not want to wrap up. and they'll just break a lot of tackles. But they don't run the ball effectively, and they don't pass the ball effectively in, the older version of the game, in my opinion. At least on the Heisman difficulty and the sliders I play on, I feel like the game was a little bit too easy. So the running game should be better. And then also the passing game should be better. AI quarterbacks will now have better consideration for throwing the ball away when all receivers are covered to avoid taking unnecessary sacks. Perfect. That's something I mentioned earlier, that they just take too many sacks. You'll get a lot of coverage sacks. In my opinion, that shouldn't happen. They should take off and run. And like I said, the running quarterbacks will actually take off and run, but the pocket passers, they'll just hold, look around, and then they'll try to run, but they're usually too slow to even get out the pocket. So they'll just end up taking that sack. So now they should actually throw the ball away. If they go through their first 2 reads, don't look for the third read. Sometimes you just got to get that ball out and throw it away. So that should be a little bit better. And then also AI clock management improved by targeting the end zone or throwing the ball away near halftime and late game situations. Okay, so just the AI quarterback and then even the coach AI is not great. It's just not great, man. You'll have them, doing some dumb stuff, whether it's not calling timeouts or, calling timeouts in the situation they should run a clock. So hopefully that all of that stuff should just be in a little bit of a better spot. And then you also have some general gameplay updates here. Also, address the unrealistic quarterback speed boost. We already talked about that speed boost in the backfield. Improve defender pursuit so they maintain proper containment angles against quarterback Juke. So it was just a lot of stuff going on with the Jukes. All of that stuff should be in a better spot. Fix the issue where changing wear and tear and subs at play call was reset. Didn't even know about that issue, but that should be fixed for your coach adjustments as well. And then that's the updates. It's interesting to see that they didn't put it on their page. They usually drop, a whole blog of the updates, the jerseys that have been changed, all of everything, Dynasty, Road to Glory, Ultimate Teams. They usually drop everything, but this time it's just tweets, which is a little bit interesting because if you don't have a Twitter, you don't know about this. you just don't know about this information. That's why you watch me, because I'm going to give y'all the information that you need to know. That's actually, in my opinion, super important for offline Dynasty players. This is very important information because it's going to change your gameplay. The jersey stuff, if you're an equipment guy, all of that stuff, cool. But this is important for your gameplay. Another thing is there will be things that's not in this update, that's not covered in this update, that have changed. So if you notice something that feels different, that seems different, comment it down below, because there will be things every single update, that things that just don't make the patch notes but gets changed. You notice every single time, and we usually make a video dedicated just to those things. So comment anything you notice down below. I'll compile a list of everything I noticed that changed that did not make the update or did not make the patch notes. And also, we didn't get no patch notes. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a lot more things that have been changed that did not make the notes. So I also want to click on Mills' profile here, because Mills actually dropped a tweet this morning that I saved, and I was at work, wasn't really paying attention to the update. And he dropped this tweet this morning. If I go ahead and find it. Found it. Here we go. So Mills said, played a little bit of college football this morning. So damn back, man. I hope they put out official notes to match what I'm seeing. And he pretty much said he was seeing like just better quarterback and running back, AI, which they dropped in the update. And then later on, he pretty much said that, he confirmed what he saw, in the actual update, in the gameplay. He pretty much saw that stuff in the notes, so it actually made sense. He said knew they did something. So yes, it seems like the gameplay actually is a lot better. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts. If y'all go ahead, we're gonna hop into a game later tonight. We're gonna hop on stream, so we'll hop in, play some games, see if things feel different, all of that. So usually EA would drop a pretty big tweet and, the update, the patch notes, all of that stuff. But we come over here to the, EA college football website. You could actually go over here to game updates, and they don't have the most recent update blog and all of the notes. It's just nothing here. They just have the last one from October 1, which is interesting. Like, I don't know why they just don't have all the notes here, but we're going to have to discover more stuff, like I said, by playing the game. And also make sure you tapped in because I will drop that video covering everything I found. Then I also found this on Reddit. So shout out to Martin for dropping this, but all of the uniforms added. And then I also found another one where apparently there were some roster updates. Don't know if that's true, but I seen something, or roster updates coming is maybe with what I saw. Maybe we will see some roster updates on Friday. Tomorrow, we'll see, and I'll cover that as well. But wouldn't be surprised if we do see some updates. Now, you could pause. I'll kind of, just scroll through so you can see all of the jerseys that have been updated apparently. And, like I said, wish it was just somewhere on the website or they just announced what got updated, what got changed and everything. So we're kind of not just, guessing or got to go in game and find it. And just to show you some of the updates, the Miami camo uniforms, they're pretty cool, man. They're pretty cool. I do like what I see here. Some pretty good work. You also got some Army. I like this, man. I like this. I also like them Navy uniforms in the back. There's some pretty good work on, equipment guys, man. Where my equipment guys? These are the Navy ones. Also, some pretty good work in my opinion, man. So they'll like they always do. They'll continue to update and add jerseys throughout the year as games or as teams pull out new jerseys. They'll continue to add them. They have been reliable and continuing to do that. So we do appreciate that. So the latest update we got was the Week 12 update. I'm curious to see, like I mentioned, where on the block is we might get another one. So we'll see if we get something tomorrow. I'm expecting the update and some pretty big movers, but we'll see tomorrow, man. If y'all enjoy this content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I really, really appreciate y'all boys watching. Check out the Twitch. We will be live later tonight. Also, check out the Twitter. We're active on Twitter. We're locked in, tapped in. We on to the next one, y'all.